who will be saying a few words.
Next, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Once again. This was really important. I chose to make Calgary my very first stop of my leadership campaign because the hard road forward the Liberal Party is going to travel passes through every single corner of this country. In many places where our party has been successful in the past, Liberals have recently awoken to the results of a decade of declining fortunes. You're here because you believe. You're here because you see a better way for this country that is focused on bringing people together and working hard to succeed. You care about building a better Canada. You know what a Freudian slip is, right? It's when you say one thing and you mean your mother. You're a Liberal in Calgary because you do not subscribe to the politics of ideology. You're a Liberal in Calgary not because it is easy, but because you reject the politics of resentment and division that are the hallmarks of our opponents, both on the left and the right.
Hear, hear.
Our opponents never miss an opportunity to criticize us for being moderate, centrist, contemplative, pragmatic, and evidence-based in our decision-making, as if these traits are things to be ashamed of. I am running for the Liberal leadership because I think the politics of resentment and division are bad for this country. I am running because I think the Conservative government is taking this country in a direction that most Canadians don't want to go. And it's for their neighbours and for their children. Canadians built Medicare. Canadians built an open and dynamic economy. Canadians welcome newcomers from around the world into their homes, into their communities, into their businesses. Canadians developed an independent foreign policy and, when necessary, bled for our values on foreign shores. Canadians brought their Constitution home. Canadians demanded that their inalienable rights be placed above the reach of politics, and Canadians balanced the budget. The Liberal Party was the party of their choice, often. But we were the platform for their aspirations, not the source. If there's a lesson to be learned from our party's past, it's not where we landed at the policies we had, but how we got there. We were in touch, connected to Canadians all over this country. Their dreams were our dreams. Their values, our values. And their fights, our fights. So let us learn from the past, but focus on the future. I want to lead a movement of Canadians that seeks to build, not rebuild. Create, not rebuild. After all, we live in a very different world, my friends. 20 years ago, I was of the first graduating class in my university to get email. I was the last generation of pre-Google high school teachers. And our kids won't even know there was ever a world before BlackBerries. And we know what Canadians want. Good jobs. A dynamic and growing economy that allows us to educate our kids as they mature, to care for our parents as they age. We want a compassionate society that pulls together to help the vulnerable and gives the less fortunate a chance at success. We know that Canada is the freest country on earth because we trust each other. So we want a government that looks at Canadians with respect, not suspicion, that celebrates the Charter of Rights and Freedom. You want a government that believes in your choices, your values, and your liberty. Some say that you carry our future. I say young people are an essential resource for our present. We need to empower all young Canadians through world-class education, through rich and relevant work experience, and through opportunity to serve their communities and their world. Their voices, their choices matter deeply, as do their actions. They are already leaders today. A word directly to our First Nations. The Canadian reality has not been and continues to not be easy for you. We need to have the courage to own up to our mistakes and fix them together, people to people. Your place is not on the margins. It is at the very heart of who we are and who we are yet to become. Et je veux que le Parti libéral devienne de nouveau le parti qui valorise les communautés francophones à travers le pays et les appuie dans leur développement. Nous avons besoin d'un gouvernement qui s'inspire des succès économiques de toutes les régions et qui définit une stratégie qui profitera à toutes les régions, au lieu de nourrir les désaccords et les divisions entre les provinces. I believe Canada is at its best when we are working together. I promise you, I will never use the wealth of the West as a wedge to gain votes in the East. It is wrong to use our natural wealth to divide Canadians against one another. It was the wrong way to govern Canada in the past. It is the wrong way today, and it will be the wrong way in the future. It's not the politics of division that help make Canada strong. You can get elected by dividing. You just can't really govern all that well, as we're seeing in all of this. But it's time for us to be more honest for ourselves as a country. There's not a country in the world that would find 170 billion barrels of oil under the ground and leave them there. There is not a province in this country that would find 170 billion barrels of oil and leave it in the ground. We must bridge the gap between those who are indifferent to the destruction of our natural economy, our natural environment, and those who would shut it down completely. We must work constructively to mitigate the efforts on our climate, our land, and our water. At the same time, we must never forget that this resource is also a blessing, a creator of tens of thousands of middle-class jobs across the country and a generator of wealth that can help fund many other critical social needs. It is an indictment of our current political leadership that we have failed to recognize that we cannot have a growing economy over the long term without a healthy environment. Our opponents in the Conservative and New Democratic parties too often deal in absolutes, with sloganeering meant to appeal to small, specific constituencies across the country, pitting Canadians against one another. Our new movement cannot be truly national without Albertans' energy and entrepreneurship. Albertans' energy resources are also plentiful above ground in the skills, ingenuity, and indeed in the souls and values of Albertans. At the very heart of liberalism is the idea that individual human beings are free, and that if we are given the right tools, we will use that liberty to make the right choices. That free people will come together to build a community of common interest and a better life for themselves and their children than they ever could alone. Well, nowhere in Canada is this idea more alive than right here in Alberta. we Liberals could learn a thing or two about modern liberalism from Albertans. Individual liberty is the heart of liberalism, but its highest expression is what we build together. It is the opportunities we create for one another in our communities, in our provinces, and across the country. We need to learn what we have forgotten, that the key to growth, to opportunity, to progress is a thriving middle class. People with good jobs, people who are able to, together, all of us can convince young Canadians that serving this great country is more than its own reward.
Yes.
So I promise you this, if you entrust me with the privilege of leadership, I will work long, hard, and tirelessly. Harvey and I met on a canoe trip down the Nahanni River, no more than a decade ago. Yeah. I had longer hair and yours was less white. Harvey is a man of principle and conviction, a man who has devoted his life to nature conservation, the ultimate common interest. Soon, we will have an opportunity to take our message to the people of Calgary Centre. I hope that you will all take the opportunity to get out there, to knock on doors, to open up your minds and hearts to the ideas and aspirations of our fellow citizens here in Calgary. Harvey is a good man, a good Liberal, and he deserves all of our support.
Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Canadians and my fellow Liberals, fellow Albertans, in case somebody is not Liberal in this crowd, fellow Calgarians, welcome to the beautiful constituency of Calgary-McCall. And I say this again, welcome to the beautiful constituency of Calgary-McCall. And it is a great honor that Justin is starting his campaign kick-off Canada from Calgary, Alberta. We need to make Justin Trudeau the next Prime Minister of Canada so we can put the country back on a strong footing and back on prosperity. Thank you very much.
What do you think and what do you hope this will do for Liberal fortunes in Alberta?
Well, I don't know yet what his success is going to be in the leadership because we haven't seen enough to know. But if he is the leader, I think he'll bring a tremendous new energy to the Liberals all across, including the Alberta.
I think I heard you ask this question already, but have you decided if you're going to endorse him or any other candidates for the federal leadership?
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see who else is running, but certainly he is very high up in my esteem in terms of his energy and commitment to this country, to Liberal values. And he's a very articulate spokesman for Liberals and the Liberal values that most Canadians share.
It seems from his speech that the strategy he's looking to employ is to sort of carve out the centre ground. Do you think that's a sound strategy going forward in the modern political environment?
That is the Liberal position, the sensible centre, and I completely in concert with him, especially his strong commitment to using evidence to create policy. We've seen Conservative governments who just came in with ideology, decided they want to do things, and then they find research to kind of back it up, sort of. That's not acceptable. We have a tremendous scientific community, we have tremendous experts, and Albertans, Canadians, are the experts in what is most important to them, where their values are. We should be listening to Albertans and bring that together, and Canadians, and bring that together with good science before we jump into policies about where we're going in the energy future, the environment, economic diversification, those kind of things. We have to stop basing those decisions on ideology.
That's good. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.